4 days before Memorial Day, this was just an inflatable raft, a pile of plywood, and an idea. The goal was simple: turn it into a functional little lake boat before launch day. No big shop, no fancy tools, no custom fabrication, just a garage, some basic tools, and a willingness to figure it out. The plan was to build a rear deck, a canopy, a few creature comforts, and hopefully end up with something that could spend an entire day on the water. I also had a secondary objective: prove to my wife this wasn't a complete waste of time and money. The only problem was I had 4 days to do it, and absolutely no guarantee any of it would actually work. But sometimes the best projects start with a deadline and just enough confidence to get yourself in trouble. So with launch day already on the calendar, there was only one thing left to do: start building. The home improvement store that I went to did not have the grade of plywood that I wanted for the price that I could live with. So what I decided to do was I got an underlayment that's a 1/4 inch thick, which is a much nicer grain pattern, and then underneath I got a 3/8 inch construction grade sheathing. So what we're gonna do is we got our Tight Bond 3, which is a waterproof glue. We're going to coat the entire layer of the construction sheathing. We're gonna clamp this thin veneer over it, and then we're gonna brad nail around the edges, put weight on it, and let it cure for about a day. We got our brad nailer with 5/8 inch 18 gauge brad nails. Okay, well here's where it starts getting real. We're breaking ground. Once these two panels are glued up, everything else starts taking shape. At this point, it stops feeling like a cheap pool inflatable, starts feeling like an actual boat. We got 4 days until Memorial Day weekend. Definitely got my work cut out for me, but this first step puts the finish line in sight. The plan is not perfect. I don't have a big shop full of tools. I'm just a guy with a vision and a little bit of a deadline. And we're gonna take 70-pound bag of sand. Put that there. If you have compressed air, this is a good time to just kind of hose everything off. If you have a shop vac, go ahead and move to the next step, which is putting on the spar urethane. I recommend doing this with a respirator. Just do what I say and not what I do. We're gonna go ahead and just do the exact same thing that we did on the other side. Now yes, I do want this floor to look nice, but I am much more concerned about it being functional. I'm not looking for a perfect piece of furniture that would go in my living room. I am looking for a well-protected floor that can withstand water and sun damage. We are gonna let this cure overnight, and we're done for the day. We'll see you on the next one. We got some 400 grit, just a quick sanding sheet. This is about 18 hours after we did the first coat, and it still has a little bit of texture, so we're gonna need to gently knock it down, and then we're gonna go ahead and do that second coat of spar. Again, I'm not doing anything crazy. You can already tell the difference, honestly. I'm just hitting it, you know? And if you're working in a position where you have a light source behind you, you can get down real low, and I can look across this entire board, and I can see that I've hit everything. Okay, now that that's done, I'm just gonna grab a microfiber brush. This first one doesn't need to be perfect. You're trying to get the surface ready for another layer. That's really it. We're gonna get going. So we're just gonna let this cure for the recommended 2-hour period, then apply the second coat. We're gonna try to do 3 of these today, if possible. Just ripping straight pre-workout. Not even going to the gym today. Here we go, ready? So what we're gonna be doing on the motor mount section of this is a rear shelf mod. So I've got 2 90-degree 1/2 inch conduit bends. Essentially, I've got the couplings on here. What's gonna happen is these 2 pieces are gonna go in like this. We're then gonna cut the proper length to connect through there on both sides. We're gonna create a stable shelf, and then we're gonna do cedar planking on it. I want there to be a slight forward angle, but I'm gonna probably have to cut about 1 inch off of both of these so that it comes down a little bit further, creates a little bit more of a straight line. So I'm gonna start with about 1 inch on each side, because we're gonna use an angle grinder with a cutoff wheel. We've got our angle grinder, and we've got our eye protection. This is one of those instances where eye protection is not a suggestion. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. Just like that. We can run this and just clean up this edge a little bit. There needs to be a way so that when this is pushed down in here, that this can't slide down with weight. So I want to get it to a position that feels just about right. And I'm gonna make a dot on the side. Now what that's gonna do is gonna give me a spot to drill through with a 3/16 bit. And then we're gonna put a 1-inch number 10 machine screw through, lock it so that when you push it down in, it stops right there. Is I'm just very carefully gonna start. Now we've got both pieces. So I hit both of these pieces with some sandpaper, get the Sharpie mark off, and also to make sure that the outsides of these are nice and smooth. Now that we got those in, let's go ahead with 2 of our machine screws. We're gonna put it through 3/16. There we go. There's that. So now we got these 2 in. Now we can do a proper, boom, perfect. Pull back a little bit. Now we got 2 stops. Can't fall down, and it's not gonna lift out because there's gonna be weight, and it's gonna have torque on it. See, just even pushing it back, pulling it back like that. Now, let's measure and get our, now this isn't an exact science. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my tape and I'm gonna position it right here on that split. And I'm gonna say, let's go 7.5. 7.5. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put the piece through and we're gonna settle it back into the fitting. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these to right there. I'm gonna then mark right there, there, and right there. Take an extra moment here and make sure that you're drilling directly in the center of the pipe. Alignment is very important, and you don't want to be too close to the sidewall. Now, before we move on, we're going to go ahead and lock tight all of these connections. We start on the top, push them back, then we pull the back. Now the pieces of cedar will run 1, 2, 3 across, and then we will have a nice solid luggage rack. We're still waiting on the 4th and final coat. Now we're kind of just waiting till tomorrow. We will finish the luggage rack tomorrow, so we'll be pretty good to go for Saturday. I'm all jacked up. That pre-workout is nuts. I feel like I gotta go to the gym like right now. All right, here's where we're at. We finished the floor. It's been shaped to the hull, and we got the pipe insulation with the zip ties. Classic floor construction. Everyone on YouTube that's made a floor typically does it like this. What we're gonna do right now is, with the boat blown up, we're gonna do a test fit. Before we get into building the luggage rack, before we do the bimini cover, we're gonna get the floor in and we're gonna see how it fits. Now, this floor was designed a little bit differently than you're typically used to seeing. Most of the time when you see people build, they really get it wedged under these inner tubes and they get it all the way stuck under, so as it inflates, it really pinches it down. I don't like that. It causes unnecessary friction. I want this thing to last as long as possible. So I sort of went with a smaller footprint that will be filled around the outside. And in this case, it just happened to be pool noodles that work fantastically. We're gonna test and see if it actually fits, but I intentionally designed this to be slightly smaller than the footprint and then wedge it in with cushioning. So let's go ahead and get this thing in there and see how it fits. So we're gonna put it in dry. Boom. It really fits the inside perimeter and not all wedged up underneath. Now how we're gonna take out the little bit of slack that we have is with this stuff. In the back, one's gonna go all the way down and the other one is gonna sit on top of that. Locking power. Now these two, about the same distance. We're not shoving it down in there. We're just using it as a cushion. It's sitting right there, left, right, side to side, front to back. And now we have a solid floor. We'll flex so we can stay nice and solid in the middle and the boat can move around us as it wants to do. Not bad. Oh, come on, man. Check this out. This is just, I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks way better than carpet. It looks way better than spray painted plywood. I'm stoked. I think this is awesome. It's so solid. Look at that. In addition to the floor, rather than spending a ton of money on these buoy bumpers, they're like 18 bucks each. So I just went to Walmart and I got these extra thick, like super pool noodle, and I cut them into 4 pieces. I upgraded to a 3/8 inch and I got 4 buoys on the boat. What we're gonna do now is very exciting. We are gonna get the bimini top set up and it's gonna be sweet. We are one step closer to our Memorial Day boat weekend out on Pueblo Reservoir. And now I got shade. Oh, this might legitimately be the coolest ghetto, poor man's anything that you could build that gives you so much satisfaction for so little money. Just a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, a little bit of imagination. It's just, I mean, come on, look at this. Everything you're looking at right now, $300 at the time of making this video. The top, the wood, the boat. I mean, come on. We got the hookups for the life jackets. We're compliant with the Coast Guard now. We got a shelf going on the back that's just gonna be chilling. It's gonna be sick. I just can't wait to get out there in this thing on Memorial Day. As a veteran, it means a lot to me. As an American, it means even more. Look, come on, like, come on. It's a beautiful cloudy day here on the Friday before Memorial Day weekend. We're trying to launch this Intex Excursion for tomorrow morning out on Pueblo Reservoir. And we got to finish up a few things today. We got to get the back shelf system mounted. We're going to have 2 12-inch pieces of cedar, 3 36-inch pieces of cedar, and 2 packs of 1-hole straps for 1/2-inch conduit. Just to give you a quick overview of what it's going to look like, these 2 pieces are going to sit right here and give us a mounting point. They are going to be strapped to the bottom up so that I have 2 pieces of flat wood. Got a little bit of a split there. That's what you get for drilling so close to the end. Just a quick pilot hole. All right, now we're gonna be using 1.5 inch Not 100% sure, but it's the same style as the one we did on the bottom. It's got a nice flat pan head, which for cedar, which is very soft, you're gonna want something that has surface area. And we're gonna keep using this drill bit to make our pilot holes. Let's go ahead and get these pieces on here so we can get our layout, then we'll take it off and we'll cut that final shape. So we know 18 is gonna be the center line. And I think if I line the 18 up with the center line of the hull, I can get pretty close. So I think we're gonna go outside, inside. It's gonna be okay. Okay, I just went a little bit into that bottom material. Now I'm gonna come to that same position, right about there. We don't wanna move. So let's go. Nice. No screw out of the bottom. And now we got our first piece on. And let's take our second piece, lay it in. We're gonna use, this is our spacer. Final piece. Now we're gonna figure out the shape. Now for corners and everything, I'm gonna end up using this can. Where this bottom part of the curve starts to come back towards the center, we're gonna stop right at the edge of this piece of wood. We're then gonna draw that as a straight line all the way down, and then we will come down over here again and make that corner around it. Right there. And you could see. So we got our first side ready to go. What we're gonna do to prevent chip out is we're gonna take green painter's tape, lay it right across. You can still see the lines. We're gonna do this side now. The final product, rear shelf, rounded, sanded, absolutely killer. So in addition to the Excursion 4, we also got its little brother. We got the River Run 1 Pro by Intex. It is a river tube that, oddly enough, is the same color. Oh man, this thing is gonna be sick. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And it comes with, yeah, this is absolutely bananas. Removable storage components, slide and swap. This is like, and let's get some air in this thing. Also, my wife doesn't know about this. She said she wanted to get a river tube, and I didn't tell her that I got this one, so she thinks we're going to Walmart. Wow, this thing is huge. The River Run Pro. You could put your phone right there with like a gorilla mount. Dude, some type of waterproof pouch. Guess you could fit 2-3 beers in there. And this clips on. What? We like a little drape. Square knot on the back. That's not a square knot. You can't see it, but it wasn't a square knot. That's a square knot. Boom. Honey, look at this.
Oh, where did you get that? Where did it?
It's the same brand, same color. It's got a place you can plug your phone or GoPro. It's got a carry pouch that you can like throw some beer in. And look, it's the same color. It's like its little baby.
I love it, babe.
So that's just about everything we can do We've gotten everything prepped, everything ready to go. The boat inflated, the floor is built, the suspension system is built, we got the rear rack built, we got the bimini top put together, we got our life raft, our anchors, our cooler, everything that we're gonna need to hit the lake for Memorial Day. We got the Intex Excursion 4, we got the Intex River Run 1 Pro. We're gonna tow that behind the boat. We're gonna get out there to the reservoir down in Pueblo. It's gonna be a fantastic time. Let's get everything loaded in so we can hit the road super early tomorrow. Get our stall mat in, just to protect the floor a little bit. Got it. Perfect fit. So, got the boat deflated down so we can get it in. But still, when we actually get to the lake to set up, it'll have some air in it. We've got the seats in the front. We got our cooler and the top. And last but not least, we got our back shelf, which can just, we're done. And rather than stress out about having to get the anchor and the extra rope and all the stuff that's going to potentially get wet, we're going to go ahead and pull our hitch off and throw on this cargo rack. Well, we're now going to put one of our tough boxes. We got our 16 by 20 tarp. We got a manual pump, our electric pump, our anchor and anchor line system, some extra 550 cord, carabiner, and a handful of these little look at that. Jumper. Wow, they're big. Okay. All right. Boom. All right. Yeah, maybe, but it's not ghetto at least. I've seen ghetto. I mean a little ghetto, but like this is intentional ghetto.
And just like that, step 1 is complete.
Oh yeah. She's seabound. Feels good. I wouldn't say chilly. No. Get on out there. Look at that floating butte. There's a line there.
And with that little stumble, step 2 is complete. The canopy is on.
Dude, that is so awesome. Doesn't it look awesome? We just gotta pop on these seats. Well, glad we tested it before we got out there. We got our front anchor system in. We got our towels, our big food cooler.
By the time we finally launched this boat, I think we were both just too tired to care whether everything came out perfectly or not. At that point, the fact that we even made it out onto the lake felt like a massive victory. because 4 days earlier, this thing was literally just an inflatable boat sitting in a box. I had a few sheets of plywood and an idea that sounded pretty good in theory. Honestly, there were a lot of times during this build where I wasn't even sure if we were going to get it done. But piece by piece, it started turning into something real, and not because the plan was perfect. Most of the time, I was figuring things out as I went. I was adjusting measurements, I was changing my ideas, and I was working around whatever tools and limitations I had. I think that's probably my favorite part of projects like this, because you realize pretty quickly you don't need everything figured out before you start. You don't need a giant shop, expensive equipment, or a perfectly engineered mastered plan. Most of the time, you just need to start. You solve problems as they come, and you keep moving forward until eventually you end up someplace you never would have gotten if you didn't just take the first step. Somehow, after 4 days of building and sweating and cutting and hoping this thing would hold together, here we were, sitting out on the lake on Memorial Day weekend, eating sandwiches out of a homemade pool toy. And honestly, once we started towing that tube, I think that's when it finally hit me that this ridiculous little project had actually worked. Not perfectly, but just well enough to create a memory we'd never forget. And at the end of the day, that's probably worth a lot more than getting every single detail perfect.
Oh, and as for our secondary objective, I think we were successful.
Thank you so much for watching and experiencing this journey with us. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.